Hello, everybody, and welcome here today at another Kerfuffle webinar. And we are delighted to have bedecked in their wonderful purple tops, the Properly crew, newly assimilated into the Legal for Landlords empire. I am delighted to have with me Sim Second. How are you, sir? You okay?
Yeah, really good, Simon.
Yeah, you look a
Great
bit
to be
down
here.
here,
Speaking to everybody at Kerfuffle.
You looked all depressed there, as if you know, what am I doing on this show? How did this happen?
You shocked me with that entrance.
Why aren't I talking to Chris Watkins? No, you're here with me, and that's important. We're going to say hello to you, Dale, as well, sir. You okay?
Hi, Simon. I'm good, thank you.
Yours is even better, Dale. So yours is even better than so half your head just disappeared there. So we had Sim's shirt off camera disappearing, and now half your head. So this is idyllic. Now we've got the most important two here, and that's not to downplay how important it is for our wonderful supplier partners Properly. But we are here today with Janky from Paramount and Vanessa here from Jones Robinson. Welcome to the pair of you.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Thank you for taking the time out. I know how busy you are at the moment. So, Sim, if it's okay, if we can just, before we just jump in with a few questions and get it there, clearly, Legal for Landlords, you went out and acquired the Properly business. What was it that appealed to you that thought this was going to really fit into your kit bag of tricks over there at your organisation?
Yeah, multiple factors really, Simon. So the whole way the market's moving towards more customer-centric and more importantly, the tenant journey, is really important to ring fence that with a pre-tenancy solution, because tenants have a fragmented experience when it comes to traditional agency. So software is the bridge between that. So with the Legal for Landlords, insurance, legals, and tenant referencing, we had that piece was missing from the pre-tenancy side. Opportunity came up for Properly, and I think we were late to the table on it, but we ended up being successful in obviously acquiring it and putting it into obviously our stable, as you say, so we can add real benefit to the existing clients. But not only that, we've got obviously existing tech and resources, so both departments can work together to create real synergies and obviously bring those benefits to Properly clients and vice versa with the tech team that we've got from Properly as well. So a hell of a lot of synergies and tenant journeys and pre-tenancies. It locks the whole ecosystem in, and it helps for the whole user experience.
And that's what agents seem to be wanting these days, don't they? They do want that more layered experience. They don't want to have loads of fragmented different suppliers. You know, sometimes there's that bit of a concern about having all your eggs in one basket, but it seems to me that many people say as long as that's the right basket, they'd much prefer to concentrate on developing those single relationships rather than having a whole spread of different ones.
Yeah, and with the Properly thing, it's key that we still remain vendor agnostic for obviously for non-competing businesses. So we are happy to obviously integrate with other parties and other suppliers. And equally on the CRM side, and we've got multiple integrations already on the Properly side, and there is 2 or 3 more on the horizon for Q4 and obviously next year. So choice is the key word here. It's choice, and giving that transparency and offering that choice to our client base.
So guys, could you just give us a background? If it's okay, I'll just start with you first, Janky, and just talk about, obviously Paramount's known as a fantastic lettings operation, you know, admired around the country, multiple award winners, all that wonderful jazz that I'm always going to shout about from the hilltops. Clearly a supplier doesn't get across your quite strict boundaries unless it's doing something special and is really delivering benefits. So could you just talk to me about, you know, how does Properly help you automate your pre-tenancy process, and what caught your attention from the beginning when you saw them as a business?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for speaking so highly of us as well, Simon. And in terms of what we were looking for is we of course want to offer a digital experience to our, we call them residents and owners. So we were looking for that digital experience from start to finish for them. And one of the key things that stood out to us with Properly is on the market, there are obviously other softwares available, but they're very strict in what they can offer. There's not the option to adapt it to have it how we want to have it at Paramount. We obviously want something that's tailorable for us, and we can, you know, change small things, big things, how we want it. And that was the key element that stuck out to us, was that we can have it tailored to what we would need. And ultimately, this software offers that experience all the way from the start to when a resident is moving in, and it covers the full package.
And how easy was it to adopt into the business? There's a lot of fantastic, actually, you know, tech solutions out there, but there really is a spectrum as to how easy it is to, some of them take, you know, my own particular world, CRM, for example, it could take a very, very long time to really start getting the benefits out of this. Was this something that was, you know, at that more complicated end, or was it, did you start seeing the benefits from day one?
So in terms of having it to how we would want it, essentially, the package and the software, it did take a little time to get it how we wanted. We didn't want to launch something that wasn't ready to go. We wanted to launch it at 100% and what we wanted. So it did take a little bit of time just to get it up to scratch and have it how we wanted. But once it was adopted, it was absolutely fine from day one to launch and, you know, throw ourselves right into it and start having all our new move-ins processed through the platform.
So that essentially that sort of planning phase for getting the software in to get it the, you know, the paramount. You do, you know, I always, Spencer always shouts at me, but I always say he's a high maintenance client. You do have very high exacting standards, don't you? But because of that, you know, actually what the product that comes out on the other side is almost always improved if they've listened to people like your good selves take on your ideas and enhancements into the software.
100%. And I do have to say that the team at Properly have listened to everything we've put forward, and if they can do it, they'll definitely try, and they'll definitely try and get it into how we want it to be.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. Really useful feedback there. And Vanessa, from your good self, and if I don't say something as nice about Jones Robinson, then Charles is going to destroy me as well. So I've equally got to say the amazing, obviously, Jones Robinson there, really tight, great organisation. And you, again, as a business, know what you want, don't you? You don't normally just have sort of off the shelf, as it were. Talk to us about your experience of getting to know the Properly crew and what it did for you.
It's completely changed the way we do our lets here. We were doing them manually before, and it used to take me about 1 hour and 20 minutes just to type up all the documents and stuff like that. And then when we just decided it wasn't it wasn't good use of our time, especially when someone was out of the office to try and catch up and figure out where we were. Properly came along, and it's totally changed the lettings way. The step-by-step process for me is a big thing, because I can literally go into any property and see where we are. My colleagues can do that in my absence. I can assign a let to someone else, and it's fantastic. It's really, really great.
I mean, that's kind of just, I had tears coming down my eyes there, because often us in the tech business, you know, we get accused of creating tech that doesn't help solve a solution and all the rest of it. But what you're saying there is actually what the absolute key to what technology is about, isn't it? Simplicity and efficiency, and getting more productivity out of just your day-to-day basis.
And that's for all the landlords, the tenants, and for us. You know, I've had, my record is 27 hours of getting a tenant from referencing, open banking, paying the money, signing, reading the agreement, everything done next day. Landlord read the agreement overnight, signed it. So it's fantastic. It's really, really changed the way we work here.
Brilliant. I love that. And I absolutely know for a fact that you'll be trying to beat that 27 hours as well.
I do.
I can see that just as it goes on, clock goes on, and you're going to see.
But it's a team effort. When the property's ready, all the certificates are loaded on it, and the references go, especially with the open banking function, you know, tenants put their details in, the references are back. So it's a well-oiled machine. It works brilliantly for us.
Brilliant. Great to hear that. I'm sure the guys there, you're pleased to hear that part of it. It's going all right. Okay, guys, we haven't had the difficult questions yet, so stop smiling too smugly over there, Dale. But that must be, I mean, and actually, all joking aside, guys, when we do these kind of the due diligence, when you're looking at businesses, you will have been asking about these opinions from exactly, and this is what you will have wanted to hear, isn't it?
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, it was a big one for me. through obviously the DD phase, which went on for several months, speaking to key clients and potential clients that were looking to obviously move towards Properly, and I really came out with a good feeling on the back of it. It's best of breed for what it offers, and the simplicity kept on coming out over and over again, and it's all about user experience. And I hate to have this comparison sometimes, but somebody said the other day, it's like, you've got your Apple fanatics who will be bought into that ecosystem, and you've got your Samsung Android fanatics. Once you buy one product, then you keep on going because you love that ecosystem, because you admire and love that user experience. And yeah, there is obviously competition in the market, which is great because it obviously makes everyone better and everyone's got to up their game consistently. But the user experience in this, and like Yankee said, it's highly customizable, highly bespoke, and it's not just an off-the-shelf solution. And Vanessa, to quote you, mentioned it to Simon earlier, I remember you saying, and it stuck with me probably 3 or 4 months since we spoke, was pre-obviously acquisition, was we would all leave our job if Charles and the team wanted to get rid of Properly.
That's a hell of a shout. I was going to obviously quiz that. I wasn't going to leave that one out there. That's a hell of a statement there, Vanessa. But
I think if you came from how we were doing things previously, I came in as a temp, just covering someone on maternity leave and took the role over, and there was a lot of work, and it just got so overwhelming when you're doing 40 to 50 move-ins a month with one person, and we needed to change. We needed to work better, work smarter, and use our time more efficiently, not for only me, but for the property management team and for the lettings team who take the properties on board. So yeah,
that's brilliant. It's really good to hear that. So of course, there are I think it's fair to say actually not too long ago there weren't many competitors in this field, but this very difficult pre-tenancy stage has attracted obviously other competitors relatively recently. So what sets you guys apart then, I suppose, in terms of, and in fact, actually, if you can wait a minute, Sim and Dale, I'm gonna ask the guys. I'll start with you first, Vanessa, if that's okay this time. Yep. Have you seen, and you don't have to name the competitors, by the way, but you'll probably be aware that there are other ones in the market. What do you feel set Properly apart from those guys?
The things for me is we are using another provider for our sales and letting side, and we're talking about integrating, with Properly and that. But the other apps that we saw it weren't as user friendly, and from a tenant and a landlord point of view. And the things that stand out most for me are with Properly. For example, when I'm registering the deposit, even though the let started, let's say it's not one of my quick ones, a couple of weeks ago, when I'm registering the deposit, I can go in and I can see exactly what day the deposit was paid because it's all there on the banking information. The other thing that I use a lot is the documents. So I know you upload your compliance documents, and I also say the holding deposit guide is also uploaded there, but I've got my team now, we upload the tenant's ID, the tenant's proof of address. So it becomes almost like a library of information to do with those tenants and that tenancy. And if I want to look at something, if someone comes to me in 6 months' time, I can just go into the property. I'll tell you exactly how many days are left on the tenancy. I can see the proof of ID and everything is there. I'm on this all the time. This is my only site that I'm on, so yeah, it's fantastic.
So that transparency, that clarity, all of that good stuff about presenting you with the relevant information at the right time is what really puts this at the top of the tree for you.
All in one place. Yeah, all in one screen. Yeah, if you need very minimal clicks, if you know what I mean. Some of the other programs we looked at had a lot of backwards and forwards, and whereas Properly, it's bright, it's bold, and it's all there. And I love how there's a map. So when I'm talking to a tenant, I can see, oh, there's a play area out there. And I'll say, oh yeah, in the house you're moving to, there's a lovely play area, because it's all there. And it's just nice to enhance the tenant journey and find out more about the tenants and things like that, if it's near supermarkets and everything like that. So yeah.
Well, the minute you described it as bright and bold, I was going to be all over that. That's pretty much my raison d'etre with most things as well. So, okay, Vanessa, thank you very much for that feedback. And Janky, from your point of view, have you looked at other solutions out there in the past, and perhaps what was it perhaps that didn't work for those that works for you in the property world?
Yes, so without repeating too much of what Vanessa's already said, we had looked at other things on the market also, but for us, again, this was the one that covered, like I said before, the experience from start to finish. But like everyone said already, it's the simplicity of it all. It's very simple. It's there in front of you, very user-friendly for our owners, for our residents, for us. You know, went from when the consultants are loading a new move in to me taking it over, they can just go sign the deal. It comes to me. No need to faff with, you know, trying to send emails outside of the platform. You can do it all through there. And I think one of the key points that we got back on feedback was, without going too much into how we were doing things previously and what we were using, residents and owners have said it's just so easy to sign. It's so easy to sign. Be done, you know, you're not trying to click through individual pages, trying to initial every page. You just sign it, it's done, everyone's ready to go.
Dale, from a marketing perspective, I guess wanting to hear getting rid of the faff is quite a nice, simplistic marketing message, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that, Simon. I think Vanessa and Yankee have covered pretty much the majority of points better than anything I could ever say. But yeah, the three sort of main areas that we do sort of really rely on properly and really try and get across to our partner agents, which you've heard today, is the customer-centric user experience initially. We look to develop the platform, what our partner agents, tenants and landlords are looking for, as opposed to us just putting features in there that we think they want, which is always quite key. The time-saving element of it as well, especially. I think it was Vanessa actually who said she was doing about 1 hour and 20 per let before the Properly system. We are finding for our partner agents at current, we're saving them anywhere from 2 to 3 hours on average per let. So you can see how that will soon sort of add up altogether. So we've got the compliance aspects automated as well, which although has been very briefly touched upon, hasn't really been pushed towards, but is a very important aspect of the lettings process. The Properly system automates that journey from start to finish, sending out automated how to rent guides, ASTs, offer letters, so on and so forth. And that's all backed up with an audit trail as well. So not only is it customer-centric user experience, we've got the time-saving element in there as well. You can get a deal generated in just a few minutes once you've got your settings facilitated onto the platform, and then you've got the automated compliance as well. And all three together, along with Vanessa and Yankee's feedback, is being biased, the perfect pre-tenancy platform.
Yeah, it's doing it properly, they might say.
If I can interject here, sorry. Just to give you an example, we had a let the other day and the landlord drew up a parking plan and he wanted to make sure the tenant got it. And all I did was attach it as a document, sent it to the landlord and the tenant, and boom, it's done. You know, then the landlord got a copy and the tenant got a copy. And again, that's, you know, making it easier for everyone. And yeah, it's just easier that way.
So that ease of comms just element there, that, you know, just being able to just boom, 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 knock that out the door is a key benefit there. That's really interesting. Yeah. And look, yeah, compliance it's so important, isn't it? But it is often overlooked. But actually, systems like this that combine all of this wonderful kind of nice, sexy sizzle stuff, but also looking after the compliance elements is massively important as well, isn't it? So does that, ladies, does that compliance process as well really resonate with you in terms of what Dale was just reiterating there, that it's kept you guys you know, at the top of your compliance game as well?
100%. For us, I'm finding, you know, before, I mean, what Vanessa was saying in terms of a manual process, it was very similar for us before as well. But knowing that when I'm essentially executing a tenancy and it's going all straight to them, I don't have to sit there trying to drag each one across, load it on and then, you know, there's always that element of human error. You may miss one. This is obviously, they're all there. It all goes. And I know that, and the trail is there. The trail is always there. So as Vanessa was saying as well, you can always log back in, look at that specific tenancy, and you can always see, okay, these tenants got it on this day and all of them are attached.
Yeah. I asked the guys to jump in with a few tidbits of information there, and I must admit I didn't know this myself as a big bluffer, but the fact that there's over 140 pieces of compliance regulations that lettings, you know, agents need to be aware of. I mean, that's pretty onerous, isn't it, in terms of ensuring you've got to hit the mark on all of those?
It is. And I mean, we've got the 5 branches, and sometimes there's not always a lettings person available in the branch. So what I do is, as soon as it's all executed, I have that peace of mind knowing everything's done. Then I just send an email to the branch saying, this person's coming in, this name, this time, collecting keys for this property. They don't need to sign the moving packs like we used to. There's no checking IDs because everything's done before the time. You know, obviously check IDs when they give the keys, but, you know, in terms of signing the, you know, the gas certificates, everything like that, it's all done. It's so much easier.
Yeah, and anything you can do to avoid, you know, the big fines as well, obviously, has got to, you know, where one mistake can literally add up to fines of many thousands of pounds is obviously, it's got to be critical there. So talk to me about how you see this relationship going forwards as well. So do you, for example, it's a relatively new product, so of course there's all this innovation. Do you see that continuing as you stayed with the products over time?
For sure, yeah. We are in talks with Propoly actually about integrating with one of our other systems. And as soon as they're ready and, you know, we're all ready, then we're definitely going to look at it. I think everyone in the letting side on our team has recognized how valuable Propoly is. And especially when we have a new starter, it's something so easy to show them and easy to use. And they, you know, they get it quite quickly. So yeah, from our side, this is definitely a long-term, yeah.
That's really important, isn't it? Because it's often overlooked. I know a lot of businesses, for the right reasons, business owners will choose technology or their suppliers. But if you don't take the staff with you, if you don't impress upon them the benefits of it, then often people don't get what they expected to out of a particular supplier. So to have that ease of use, for them to understand the benefits of using it, is massively important, isn't it? And if you can impress that upon even new starters who have got 1,000,001 different things coming up, and again, you're standing a really fighting chance of this becoming a core product. Well, as you've already said, it is, but a core partner for the business.
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent. Guys, talk to us about you. We were talking about the technical side and innovation and everything else. Where do you stand in terms of integration? Do you have a quite open style? This is obviously Simon for Dale. Do you want to integrate with as many people as possible, or are you keeping it fairly as a closed garden, as it were? What's going to be your approach there for Propoly going forwards?
Yeah, so on that basis on integration, the first thing is the client. So from a client perspective, obviously we want to work with great agents who appreciate compliance, pre-tenancy, or that want to adapt and improve, you know, like Jones Robertson Empowerment, and obviously every other client we have. So it's really important that we work with the right agent first. Typically, that agent falls into a handful of different CRMs, and mainly the main ones. Which we're aware of, Vico, VPIT, MRI, Alto, and there's probably 20 or 30 more. So obviously, coincidentally, both of these clients both work with the same CRM, and integration is obviously happening faster for others compared to other integration partners. But it's definitely something that we want to do and develop on more. So strategic partnership wise, we'll probably have, I think probably by Q2 next year, we'll probably have 5 key partners that we integrate with fully. It just takes obviously time because, again, like Yankee said, every agent has a particular requirement or bespoke features, and everyone has to have it'd be great if everybody had the same integration. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't work like that. So it's something that we're working on, and there's a hell of a lot of time and resource going into that. So from integration, from a CRM perspective, it's huge, and there's a roadmap for that. But then there's a lot of product development and innovation as well happening, and that's mainly driven by client feedback.
Okay. And what's wonderful there is that we've already heard from Vanessa and Yankee. They're talking about the efficiency savings, but when you also get that double bubble of the CRM integration, that's only going to increase as well, isn't it?
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
Excellent.
It'll just save on duplicating as well, you know, adding a property on our main CRM and then adding something onto Propoly. It'll cut that all out. And then again, it'll save time for the front staff when it comes to adding details on. So.
And something you've been talking about there both time. I mean, just give an idea about the size of kind of portfolios, roughly how many properties you manage going forward. Because, you know, when we talk about, I think the problem is sometimes some people will hear, you know, they'll hear an hour and 20 minutes saved, and that's impressive enough. But when you multiply that out by the amount of business you're doing, it becomes literally competitive advantage over people that aren't using the application, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does indeed, for sure. You're right there. And I mean, it just, I can't, when I think back to how we used to do things in those days, I just remember it being really stressful for a lot of people. And, you know, when I get a let, I'm excited because I'm like, oh, okay, right, let's do it. Let's move on. And everything's there and it's ready. Whereas before, the amount of paperwork that we had and copies of everything, and we've actually, since lockdown, when we were all working from home, decided to go paperless. And yeah, so I have one single sheet of paper, whereas before we had files of everything, copies, and now it's all online, it's all done.
I love the idea there, Vanessa, that these guys have managed to put the excitement back into the lettings process.
I love it. I really do.
If they can steal that off you as just a marketing message, they're not going to go far wrong, are they? That's really, it's quite telling. And it just hearing the pair of you talk about it, sometimes when when you talk to people here and you think, it's almost like they've been dragged to the Zoom meeting, but actually it sounds like you guys just couldn't wait to start talking about this.
Absolutely. And I think when you're doing, especially when we've just gone through, the summer months, which is naturally the busiest period in the year for lettings. And when we average potentially about 80 move-ins a month, and that's a lot to, filter through, but to know that you can just, filter by name, by person, what stage a deal is at, and just go through it systematically, it is really, really important. And it just makes such a difference.
Excellent. Well, look, I promised you I was going to cut this short on half an hour because I know you people have got somewhere else to be. But I think just to summarise there is the key thing is it's that this so difficult pre-tenancy stage that can make people excited again about the lettings process. There's continuing developments. There's already been a lot of developments already, continuing development and integration that's going to promise stuff going forwards. But on top of all of that, there's an ethos of listening to the clients and bespoking it for those businesses as well. So that's quite a compelling set of reasons, isn't there, for anybody not in your competitive areas, it always has to be said, to look at the Properly Guys. Good. Guys, I am going to say thank you so much. Sim, Dale, I'm sure you want to say thank you to Yankee and Vanessa. That's just been so useful, hasn't it, to listen to them talk about the service like that.
Yeah, I don't think we needed to be on this one, Simon, to be honest.
So if you didn't have, we wouldn't have the merch. And what's Properly without merch? I'll just say once more, guys, thank you very much. It sounds really exciting. I can't wait to see, obviously, as this gets layered in further and further into your ecosystem there at Legal for Landlords, Sim. And, we'll hear from more people on this basis. But for today, Dale and Sim, thank you very much for it. Yankee and Vanessa, brilliant to hear your feedback. And I'm excited, you're excited.
Yeah, no,
thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.